Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is video part 3 of closure series. In the previous video we already have seen that how we can use the closures to handle the API calls. In this video we will be focused on about escaping and non-escaping closures and auto closures and trailing closures. These are the type of closures which we will be discussing about in this video. So let's get started. So here we can see that I already have some boilerplate code over here. In the test class I have a requirement to get the data from server, and here I have a another class which handles the API response and callbacks. So let's first talk about escaping closures. So basically we use escaping closures when we have a requirement that we need that closure outside the function body. Like here we can see that here I have this closure, and I am passing this closure as a function parameter, and it is type of escaping, which means whenever this function is compiled, compiler executes the function body, and compiler will return, but the closure escaping closure will outlive the function body and will get executed whenever the API response gets. Like escaping closures will be executed in near future, but the function compiler can return before that. If I want to more specific about that, let me print something over here. Like step 1 will be this, executing will be the step 1, and the closure part will be step 2. It will be like print print step 2. This is my step 2, and if I print step 3, and I want to return the program over here. So let's see the sequence of the steps so that it will be more clarify how the function body and returned. And in the near future, when the API gets the data, I have called this closure, and it will as I told you, it will outlive the function body, and I got the response over here. So the step 2 is over here. So this is the sequence, this is the behavior of escaping closure. So let's see how non-escaping closure works. So for the non-escaping closure, say first of all I need to remove this escaping attribute from here, and now by default it is a non-escaping closure. So for that is there like okay. So as we know that session task is also a escaping closure. So for the non-escaping escaping demo, I need to comment out this whole thing, because I cannot pass a non-escaping closure in a escaping closure. So this will be like uh, the more of a like I need to pass the JSON dictionary over here, so I will be passing like name, and which will be like developer. So this is like the demo of non-escaping, and now let me run the program and let's see what kind of steps it does follow. So let's just run the program and see. how it works. So for the non-escaping closure, the steps of the program should be one. After that, it should execute the completion block over here, and after that, it should print the three. Okay, and here we can see the result over here, one after two after three. Now, why does that happen? Because non-escaping closures cannot outlive the function body. It means like whenever compilers start compiling the program, non-escaping closures gets executed with the function flow, and once the compiler returns the function, uh, these closures are also wiped out from the memory, like they don't have any remaining instance in the memory, so they cannot outlive the function body. So this is about escaping and non-escaping closures. Now let's talk about auto closures and trailing closures. First of all, we will see about the trailing closures. So let me just command z my code, and okay. So here we can see that what is let me first tell you what is trailing closure. So basically trailing closure, if we pass a closure as a last argument or last parameter of any function, that becomes a trailing closure. So here we can see that this is my closure, and this is in middle of these two parameters, like it is between id and a name parameter. So this is not my trailing closure. So in order to make this closure as a trailing closure, I need to do some changes. But first of all, let's say have a look how we handle a callback for a non-trailing closure. So here we can see that here is the my name argument, here is my completion argument where I get the result, and here is my id argument. So let's make this closure as a trailing closure. So for that I'm going to cut this and put it as a last parameter of this function. So now I need to rewrite the this function call, and let's see what changes does it make. So let's write there. Okay, write cpd, name of my channel. Let's write the id, and let's write the closure part here. Now you can see that the syntax over here is completely changed for the closure. Now you can see that the function parameters are here. Now this is the specialty for a trailing closure. It can We can take the closure parameter, closure argument out of the argument list, and we can put it outside the function within these curly braces. So uh, this is about the trailing closures. Let's say write something here and see it works fine or not. So let me write something response and a message. Okay, so let's run the program and see how it works. So the syntax for the trailing closure is like more of a easy way to deal with closures. It's less complex than a normal closure. So here should be the result. Okay, okay. So here I get the result and the message success over here, which I printed in this closure. So this is like trailing closures. Now if we talk about auto closures, so basically what are auto closures? Now consider that I want to pass an expression as a function parameter. Now to handle that closure in the as a function argument, we need to write in it in a curly braces. So to avoid that curly braces, we can use these auto closures. Now auto closures have some limitations, like if we are passing a closure as a function parameter, then the closure should not have any parameters. Now like if I say here I am passing the closure, this closure as a function parameter, but what is happening here, the closure itself has some kind of parameters. Now for the auto closures, this is not true. Auto closures cannot have its uh, parameters. So if I create a demo for auto closures, let's create a demo for auto closures. So for that I want to create like this is the parameter and it will be taking no parameters, and it will return a boolean value. Okay, so okay, this is the closure expression which is I am passing as a auto closure. So let's say uh, behaves. So here is the name, here is the id, and here is my uh, closure. So as you can see that I need to write this auto closure part into a curly braces. So auto closure gives a easy way to deal this closure expression, and we don't need to put these extra curly braces. So I can like return from here and it will work fine. Okay, so I'm calling over here, let's run the program and see how it works without a auto closure. Let's result over here, and I want to print the result. Okay, so here is the result, like got the data, and here is the result part. Okay, so let's run the. Okay, so here we can see I got the result over here. Now let me make this parameter as a auto closure. So for that I need to put a auto closure attribute over here. Now it will completely change the syntax or the function call. Let's rewrite it and see how will it affect. Okay, this is developer, this is 1 2 3 4, and here we can see that we get rid of these extra curly braces and that signature of the closure thing. Now if I return true over here, it will work exactly it worked earlier. So this is the more like convenient way to use a auto closure. It will simplify the syntax. So let's run the program and see how it works. So guys, I have already uploaded 2 videos regarding closures, what are closures, and how we can write the syntax of the closures, and the second video is about how we handle the API calls with the closures. So you can check out my channel for that. Okay, so it got the data, and as I told you, it is working exactly it worked earlier. So this is all about types of closure. Thank you for watching.